We're going to be talking about how everybody is subconsciously under the control or this element called control. Okay, we have been taught since we are a child that you need to fear a lion or a tiger.
We don't look at the possibilities and the solutions that are hidden.
No.
We're just focusing on the problem. Unknown and uncertainty that breeds fear and it just amplifies.
You're doing everything so carefully. You're not facing any problems, is it? You come here to experience life with its happiness, with its sorrows, with its frustration and everything, because I'm here to experience this and not get very attached to that experience. We are focusing on what is the safest way. So let me tell you what we are going to explore in this particular episode. We're going to be talking about how everybody is actually subconsciously under the control or this element called control. We're also going to be talking about how this affects normal people, people who are high achievers, people who are visionaries, people who are way showers or leaders. We're going to be talking about how DTC is going to help, or how disconnect to connect is going to help you unveil what is the kind of control that is holding you back, that is making you play small, that is probably making you live in fear. And we're going to explore these things in today's episode. So Shilpi, tell me something. Why do you think control equals safety?
Because I think we all love to be in a safe zone, in our comfort zone. We don't want to get uprooted from the place where we are very comfortable. And I think this starts from the time we are born, because when we are in our mother's womb, we're very comfortable in that whole setting. And when the child comes out in this world, most of the time we wonder why the child is crying. There is some colic pain or some kind of pain. We keep assuming stuff and we really don't know why it happens. And I read it somewhere that when the child is born and comes into this world, the child's nervous system is still building up. It's still not complete. In the process of trying to adjust with the world, with the physical world, now it's out of the mother's womb. It's a huge and painful process for the child to adjust his central nervous system, this nervous system, to the environment, the new environment. So I think it is built into us from the childhood, from the time we are born or even unborn, that we fear any kind of discomfort. We fear any kind of trauma. So we want to be in a comfortable state. So it could be security of money, it could be security of a family, it could be security of a job, it could be security of having a social circle. We always want to be in a very comfortable position, don't we? So I think that is what governs the whole idea of how the nervous system can feel fear.
So can I tell you something?
Yeah.
It's a very important thing that you mentioned, because you said that when we come across a situation which is unknown to us, right? And I want to say the word unknown because probably it's the first time that you're experiencing it. I know of this thing which I'm sure a lot of neurologists or the neurolinguistic people would talk about, is we have been taught since we are a child that you need to fear a lion or a tiger. Right? So when a person sees a lion walking in front of them, their immediate response is flight, right? It's panic, it's anxiety. But when I always talk to my clients about this, the first question I ask them is, like, when they are afraid to do something that they've never done before. So what I ask them is, have you ever encountered a lion? And they're like, no. I said, what would you do if you encounter a lion? And they're like, we'll run. And I'm like, why? Because we've been told that it is a dangerous animal and you got to run. And my question is, if you've never encountered a lion and if you don't know if a lion is going to attack, because lions as animals will only attack you if they are hungry, right? And also your energy speaks a lot about it. So my question is, have you actually experienced it? And if you have not experienced it, then why are you not able to create an experience for yourself? Now I want to add another point over here, okay? It is usually our ego mind. So our ego mind, there's nothing wrong with our ego mind, because our ego mind has been our protector for a very long time. So it's this protector that says, dude or babe, do you want to do this? Because you remember you did something 4 years ago and it did not turn out well, you went through a failure or you lost money or you had a heartbreak or whatever of these sort, and now you're going to do it again. Do you think this is something that you need to do? And when the protector reminds you of that, and you're like, oh yeah, should I really even do this for in the first place? And then what you do is your ego mind will give you 10,000 reasons for you to understand that, you know what, don't do it. And then is how you stay in the comfort zone. But if you have a curious mind like a child, all right, you've seen children crawling or walking, just beginning to walk or crawling. What are the things that they do? What do you think they do first? Tell me. Because you're a mother, I'm asking you this, okay?
Oh, this reminds me of my son. My God, he would put his finger inside the sockets,
Yeah.
not knowing what's there inside, but he wants to
Yeah.
explore.
Yeah.
And he has no fear in his mind.
Yeah.
And the way I think the parents respond, don't do that.
Yeah.
That sets fear in them.
Thank you so much for saying that, okay? You see that? So the conditioning begins from there. The control begins from there, right? The child doesn't know that the socket is dangerous. If you are such a conscious parent, okay, and I'm talking to all the parents out there, if you are a conscious parent, what you would do is, oh, I am going to give birth to a baby. I know that babies love to explore. So let me close that socket with something so that my baby doesn't go put his or her finger there, and I don't have to scare the baby, telling them not to do it, right? But then because we are not so aware, we let it happen. And this way, a lot of conditioning starts happening, a lot of control starts happening.
This reminds me of a very classic example of children falling down.
Yes.
When children fall down, I see most of the time parents are and then panic and they go run and oh, don't, it's okay, it's okay. The child has not even reacted by falling down, but looking at the parents' response, they start crying, they feel what has happened.
Yeah.
But if you don't react, and that is what I have observed in while I was bringing up my children, that I wouldn't react. I would gently go and pick them up, and they would be fine. They would not cry. They would not even whimper. They would be just fine.
Yeah.
And this is where, like you said, conditioning begins, because we are trying to teach the child not to fall.
Yes.
But if you don't teach that, the child will fall and rise.
Yes. That's a very good point. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question based on that, just to understand what you think about it. So the child who was scared because he or she was putting his finger into the socket, and the child who was treated very normally when they fell, okay, how do you think these children are going to grow up, and what kind of adults do you think they're going to become? And what I mean by what kind of adults is, what kind of emotional baggage or patterns do you think these people will have when they grow up?
Oh, I think it's a lot of conditioning, because one probably will grow up to be very explorative, curious, and confident, not fearing to fall down. Okay, and they will know that yes, even if I fall down, I can rise up. But the other maybe will grow up with the conditioning, oh, I have to be careful, I have to be fearful, what if I fail, what if I fall? And it would some way affect their confidence levels in adulthood. So it's manifests in these conditioning, which they carry for so many years in the adulthood, and by the time they realize, so much of life has already passed.
I'll give you an example. This is of a client of mine, okay? She used to be a very talkative child as a child. So she's got two sisters. She's one, her elder sister and her younger brother. Some permutation combination like that, but there are two girls and one boy. So she used to be a very talkative child, and what happened is that her sister was like a guardian to her, because they used to go to school together, come back together, and all those things. So this kid, this client of mine, she liked to play, she likes to play in the mud, climb trees, okay, she's like a little monkey running around, and everybody in her family is trying to control her. Don't do this, ye mat karo, wo mat karo, don't go to other kids, don't teach other kids while you have to learn, and all these restrictions. Now she is married. Now she is planning to conceive a child. Okay. So the reason why she joined me was because they have been trying a lot and they have not been able to conceive yet. Okay. So when she came to me and when I did the soul imprint report, it happened so that the person, the soul that she's going to be giving birth to is somebody who is coming here with a higher purpose. So if the soul is coming in for a higher purpose, the parents cannot have shadows to bring in that soul into this world. So she started doing journeying with me, and over a period of time, so there is this particular part wherein we talk about what is the patterns and limiting beliefs that we have, okay? So in that particular aspect, when she started talking to me about things, she's like, Priya, you know what? I used to be very talkative, and now I don't open my mouth. Now I think 10 times before I say something. I cannot even tell my husband what I like and what I don't like and what I want him to do or what I don't want to do. And I'm like, where is this coming from? And that is when she told me this childhood story. And I was like, what do you think you need to change? And she's like, maybe I need to understand that these are not something that I want to do. So you see, when you start working on yourself, when you attend programs like Disconnect to Connect, when you start doing your shadow work, when you start doing inner work in whatever format that you want to do, what happens is that you slowly start to understand what is stopping you from being that person that you always wanted to be. Because that authentic self of yours is the one that has the magic. That authentic self of yours is the one that has the divinity in it. It has the God particle in it. And when you are not being your authentic self, and when you're wearing all these different masks that you need to wear, oh, I'll be a certain way to my friends, I'll be a certain way in my office, I'll be a certain way with my family, I'll be a certain way with my in-laws. What are you doing? You're simply wearing different masks on. And when you wear different masks, who are you really in that case? And all this stems from that one word, control, which our parents gave to us.
Priya, we are talking about conditioning, control, fear. I want to ask you a question. How do you think conditioning makes us fear losing control?
So I think I want to give this as an example, okay? And I think I'll take my example in this case. I was born in a family, a very middle class family. Dad was working full time, mom was taking care of us. I have an elder sister. And um, you know how it is in middle class family, right? Like our concept of money is very screwed up, right? Our concept of luxury is very screwed up. So we live in a state of, I think, struggle, or even not even survival. I think we live in a state of struggle until probably the kids start working. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
So what happened was, and I started working at a very young age, not because there was no money, so no sob stories over here, okay? I started working at a very young age because I was not interested in studies, and I'm saying this out open. So yeah, that's the reality of it. So when I started working early, I was not working for money per se, but I like that aspect that okay, I am able to earn for my own requirements. Okay,
That you don't have to depend on
yeah,
your
I don't have to
parents.
depend on my parents, right? And because it's not that they cannot afford to pay me for my expenses, they have paid me for my expenses for like bloody 20 years, so it's not a new thing. It's not like they can't pay. It's just that I didn't want to depend on them. And you know what, as you grow older, you also have your stuff, right? Okay, I want to buy this or I want to buy that, so these
It's
are,
just like sense of achievement,
yeah, so
little
these are
things.
extras, right? So those extras, if we can afford, we're like, oh, okay, I can do this by myself. So that gives you a and I also feel I want to add this over here. Somebody who learns to start earning at a young age, I think they automatically become more responsible because they start understanding the value of it. Okay, so I just want to add that there. So what happened was, all these things were going on, and thank God for all the companies that I have worked with, there has never been a layoff or anything like that. All right, but then the scary part was here in 2023. So I went through a series of awakening from 2022, I suppose. 2020 actually started from 2020. It started after my dad passed away, and then it amplified and amplified a bunch of times. So in 2023, I fell sick for almost 20 days. So I was completely out, and it was just fever, but I was completely out. And there was a lot of things happening within me, and there was this voice was very clear that are you going to step in or are you going to continue what you are doing? All right, now, here is where the fear kicks in, because until now, what is happening? You're leaving one job, you're going to the next, you're moving cities for a job. So, you've been working, and I've been working, I think, since 2003. All right, I took a break in between, but I continued working after that. So, 2003 to 2023. So, I have worked for 20 full years, one company after the other. And in 2023, when I was asked this question by this inner guidance, I was like, guys, what am I going to do? Like, you're asking me to step in. That means Like I got signs that I need to leave my job, okay? And I'm like, what am I going to do? How am I going to be? Because I don't have a family who will say, ja bete kar le, tujhe jo karna hai, main paise de dunga. Aise to koi hai nahi, right? Or I was like, how am I going to? And I don't want to move back to my mom's place because, you know, freedom. I've been living myself for all these years, and I was like, I don't want to move back to my mom's place. And then I have this little cat that I live with, and I was like, what am I going to? So I literally asked my spirit guides, how are you guys going to take care of me? And they showed me a million possibilities. Okay, now that is about me. But if this was happening, let's say 15 years ago, and if I was laid out of a job, I would have panicked, because that is what control creates. When you go to a job, you are putting all your trust into that job. When you get into a relationship, you're putting all your trust into that relationship. When you're getting married, you're putting all the trust into that person you've married to. And it is a very sad thing, and I'll tell you why. Okay, now I'm going to take the marriage example. If I am a person who has not received love, enough love from my parents, father, mother, siblings, whoever, then I am going to look for it outside. And when I look for it outside, I might find people who are toxic. They might throw breadcrumbs at me, but then I will feel, oh, those breadcrumbs are fucking loaves, right? And I will grab it and I will give everything that I have, only to realize that, is this what I deserve? Like, am I even, I'm getting, you see, you give peanuts to a monkey, right? So breadcrumbs are nothing like nothing but like peanuts. And this happened a couple of times to me as well. So I was like, so you know what you expect? You expect your partner to become your parent. That parent who did not give you enough love, you're putting all that weight on this partner of yours. Now this partner, let's say that this partner of yours is also coming from a family like that. Okay, so what is going to happen if two people like that meet? Like, I think people don't even think twice why they want to get married, why they want to have children. Like, they don't think. It's such a societal conditioning. This is also a part of control, because the society has told you, you go to college until you finish your graduation, post graduation, then you get married. Yeah, you get married. The first thing you do, you buy a house, okay? Then you buy a car. Then you give birth to a baby, because you have a car to take your baby around. You have a house to keep your baby in, yeah. Uh, and then rear that baby like it is a cattle. Like, don't be shocked, but this is exactly what happens, right? You rear your baby like a cattle, like school jao, ye karo, wo karo, horse riding, music, ye wo, and kids now, at least at my time, we just had to go to school. Yeah, we just had to go to tuition and it was done. तुमको खेलना है, डांस करना है, कुछ करना है, तुम्हारी मर्जी, करना है करो, नहीं करना है करो. But kids today, dude, they start their day at 6 o'clock in the morning and they finish their day fucking 10 o'clock in the night. And they are 10, 12, 14, 15 years old. It's a good thing that they're learning a skill. But are you making them do that because they have the interest to do that? Or are you making them do that because that is for your satisfaction?
Some unfulfilled, aspiration.
Oh, I couldn't become a singer, you go sing. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Will anyone say, oh, I couldn't become a carpenter, you go become one? No, right? So control starts from a very young age. And I'll tell you another reason. It's not that our parents did it consciously. Yeah. It is because for the past multiple generations, at least 10 to 15 generations, it has been going on like this. And because it is going on like this, they have taught us the same thing. But my question to everybody who's listening to this is, do you want to continue the same way? Isn't it? Because is aren't you like intellectual beings, have all access to all internet and everything, highly knowledgeable, have amazing circles? Like, are you even learning about what you need to do? Are you being aware and conscious about what you need to do? If not, then I would ask you to come into programs like Disconnect to Connect, or talk to people like us.
Again, this is all about the unknown and uncertain.
Yeah.
Yeah, unknown and uncertainty that breeds fear and fear, and it just amplifies. So we don't look at the possibilities and the solutions that are hidden.
No.
We're just focusing on the problem.
Not just the problem, we are focusing on what is the safest way.
Safest way, yeah. So that's why if this problem is there, and if we fall into this problem, oh, our life is going to be hell.
But then I have an interesting question to ask you here. You're doing everything so carefully. You're not facing any problems, is it?
There are problems every day. There are some
Exactly.
challenges every day.
Exactly. Then why not be curious? Why not be childlike? Why not play with your life? Because guys, like I want to tell you, you all over here, okay, and I want to tell you guys also that you come here to experience life. You come here to experience life with its happiness, with its sorrows, with its frustration and everything. Because as light beings, as we all are, as multidimensional beings that we are, we
But
don't
we don't remember we
we
are
don't
multidimensional beings.
yeah, so let this be a reminder as well, okay?
Yes.
So as multidimensional beings, we don't experience the spectrum of emotions, because there, you want to manifest something, you will just do it. You want to go somewhere, you will just do it. Like, life is very easy over there. That is why souls are so crazy to come down to earth and experience this spectrum of emotion. And there you are experiencing this spectrum of emotion, and then feeling frustrated about it, and then crying and cribbing about it. So I think the best way to let go of the control is probably to understand that I'm here to experience this, and not get very attached to that experience. It needs to be like that, the wave that hits the ocean shore. It just hits. Does it stay there? It just goes back, right? And that's that. And you enjoy when it comes, you wait for it to come, and then you look at the beauty when it goes back, and life needs to be just like that.
And I think we should be discussing soon about how we have to be very conscious and aware about this aspect of life.
Absolutely.
That it is all about experiencing and remaining detached from the experience, and how to probably discover that spiritual quotient, which will help us to break those barriers of conditioning, which is embedded in us for years, since the time we are probably in our mother's womb, or maybe
Even before that. Yeah.
even when we are unborn. Yeah, yeah.
Here is a recommendation for you guys. Listen to it if you feel connected, if you feel aligned with it, if you feel called to it. Then I'm leaving the link of Disconnect to Connect on the description. Go through the web page. There is an application form. Go fill in the application form, because this is application based only. So fill in the application form. Let's have a conversation. Let's see if we are a match for each other, to be working with each other. And if it is a yes, then I would love to see you on the other side. And with that, we are completing this conversation, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you, Shilpi.